Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be continuing our run, not truly as the UK, but as the Singularity. We are in the end steps of a world conquest, and to be fair, we probably could have done it a bit faster if we had gone high infamy, but I kind of really wanted to showcase some of the low infamy shenanigans, including us being able to annex China for 10 infamy, after we subjugated them for under 20, stuff like this, but now we are set. Now we no longer have Charles Dickens in charge. We could not bear him watching. Instead, we have Gustav Wadensten, and of course, secondarily, we have Lyon McFarlane going the other direction. Instead of cautious, we are now reckless. Both these guys have the reckless trait, which is going to give increased infamy generation. Oh no. And also plus diplomatic maneuvers per diplo play. I'm very curious if this cohesion penalty caps out at 100, but if it doesn't cap out as 100, we will not get any cohesion, and even if it does cap out as 100, we are still not going to have any cohesion, and so we're really not going to get very many principles. There's not much point in us going to aggressive coordination 2 just to get a little bit more coordination, because I still think we will be under kind of this 100, so we'll probably only get to put in one principle. But what we are going to do now is we're just going to subjugate Russia. A bunch of people will join in. We'll see if they back down or not. We are just going to make them a protectorate because they have a ton of states, and so I think it'll take more than 3 wars to annex them. We have plenty of time to annex them, so we will just lead off with the subjugation of Russia. Russia will of course say, no way dog, let's not do this, and we'll say, do let's, and we will have ourselves a bit of a war. We do need to recruit up a little bit more troops in some spots, or not troops but generals rather, because we are going to have to make use of a lot of different armies that we have been building up over time, but this should be fairly straightforward. Kind of expecting both North Germany and Austria and France to all join in this war, but it doesn't really matter, except to the point we will get truces with all these guys. We might release Hungary, but other than that, we'll try and go after as much stuff as possible. But I just want to point out, we have 150 maneuvers. That's a lot of maneuvers, and doing stuff like Conquer State, all of this is decreased maneuver costs, so we're really going to be able to put a whole lot of stuff in after we expect all 3 of these guys, or I guess it's just North Germany and France, to join against us and try and stop us, which they won't be able to. The war is afoot. We are pushing into France. France is the only one who joined. We put in a whole bunch of conquer states. Look at how many conquer states we can get with all of the things that we have, reducing, the cost, giving us flat maneuvers. We had 150 maneuvers. We had reduced maneuver costs from a few sources. Namely, I believe we are getting it from taking a look into the Society Tech tab. We are getting it from multilateral alliances, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, that's just infamy generation. Alright, well, fair enough. But we are getting it from, of course, our recklessness. So unlike Mr. Charles Dickens, we are reckless, which is giving us the extra maneuvers per diplo play. We have a source somewhere that is giving us more maneuvers, other than, I'm pretty sure we have a source other than aggressive coordination, but aggressive coordination is one. France will be absolutely crippled by this war, and then we are going to make sure that we are declaring wars on cooldown. So as soon as a new war starts, we will be declaring another war, and another war, and another war, and another war, until it's all done. Until the task is finished. We are up to 400 infamy, but we are going after Funj, which is a little bit of a smaller war, but we have to annex them at some point, and so this will make sense. And we're also fighting 2 of the biggest remaining powers simultaneously right now, so this will free up an enormous amount of what we got going on. Our subjects are all going to, one of them is going to seek autonomy, and then, or reduction in autonomy or something, we're going to refuse, and someone's going to declare war on us at some point. Taking a look, goods for military buildings up to around 1 million. Military wages are at 400k, which is very manageable. We have a couple battalions that aren't mobilized, but for the most part we are mobilized, and these battalions that aren't mobilized are just kind of like accessory or extras, but also we have way more power on some of these fronts than we really need, and so we should be enforcing it down pretty well. We are going to try and abuse the fact that there are defensive pacts in game, so taking a look at France, if France guarantees someone, for example, if they have a guarantee or a defensive pact, let's say with the Marina Kingdom, we can just go in and attack the Marina Kingdom and hope that France comes in and get another war with France. And if we have full annex on the Marina Kingdom, for example, then we will get to put in an enormous amount of war goals against France again, and in this way really, really chop them down. Same thing with any of the other GPs. We are going to be keeping an eye on what they have in terms of defensive pact or guaranteed independence, these types of things. So, for example, if we want to get a new war with Austria after fighting Austria, we're going to declare on Greece, this sort of thing, so that we can try and get this through as quickly as possible for the full world conquest. We're going after Austria next with Liberate Hungary and then conquering our way all the way over to Bohemia, getting the top little branch, which will allow us to go after stuff like Bavaria, as well as have a front with the North German Fed. If they back down, they have to give us all this. This is an enormous amount of maneuvers to put all this in, but we can do it. And the plan is, of course, to just annex all of Hungary in one go. It's only 9 provinces. We should be able to go after all of it. And if we can go after all of it, then we don't need to put anything in as primary. So Austrian War is still ongoing, but next we are going to be going for Oyo, and the main reason we're going for Oyo is because they have a pact of some kind with Spain that makes Spain almost certain to join. We're expecting to see them join, and since we're annexing Oyo, they will be getting the plus 50 would be annexed if they back down, which means we get to put in a ton of war goals on Spain, just like full max out war goals on Spain, which is going to be really, really nice. I think it's going to take us 2 wars to annex Spain. Yikes, that's a lot of government expenses, isn't it? Should we pay those government expenses just to make sure? Wait. Pretty sure... What the hell's going on here? Pretty sure everything's colonized. What the hell? My guys, what's that about? Oh, I guess not everything is colonized. But we are going to be going in on Oyo. Spain sides with Oyo, which is perfect because now when all these battalions are done over here, in fact, we could even move some over right now. We'll just move 1 over, that'll be fine. 1 for each of these, 1 for each of ya. 2 battalions, 1 for each of ya. Now we can put in a ton of war goals on Spain, just an absolute ton. Not that one, but this one, we can just go conquer state and... Bro, can we just conquer them in one go? Even if we could conquer them in one go, I don't think we want to, because I think that we want to be able to go after their subjects, but maybe we actually can conquer Spain in one go. Holy shit. It's like 20... Bro, can we actually? That's... Okay, so we couldn't go for everything, but we could go for a whole lot, and they can't back down to escape it. We also sided with our ally, or our subject, in the British East Indies for Catalonia and Cuba. Although, I guess, in theory, we should have sided for Cuba and Puerto Rico. But in either case, I think a direct war with Spain will allow us to annex both of them and all of their vassals next time around. So this will be pretty good. Medium chance that they just back down here because they are facing basically an apocalyptic end. We are about to enforce on Austria, which is good and fine because as soon as we finish enforcing on Austria, all these guys will just move over to Spanish France and this type of thing, and so this will be great for us. I imagine they're not quite willing this. Yeah, they're not quite willing yet. We're also going after, Vietnam over here, but that's not really that big a deal. And I think we'll be declaring on North Germany next, or USA maybe is going to actually be more important. But we do not have military access rights with these guys, so we do kind of want to put that in, so we will remove service exemptions from both Mexico and Canada, which of course they will be upset about, but no one really cares, other than the singularity. Nothing else matters. The only thing matters is the one, the only, the singular. Next, we're going for the USA, peeling off some of their best states, making most of these primary. I think that we will maybe be able to demand all the rest of the states next war with them. Here's our kind of results with Austria. You can see we could easily demand all of Austria next war with them, so it'll only take 1 more war with them, 1 more war with Hungary. We are declaring on cooldown, so just as soon as this USA war is starting to pop, just like the Spain war just started to pop, we will be declaring yet another war, probably for North German Fed, or against the North German Fed. I think that way we can assign some more of these guys. I guess just for the sake of micro, it would have been easier for us to declare on the North German Fed instead of the USA, but I think the USA is more important because they have more states, and it might take 3 wars, so we do want to be prepared for that. So we decided next up on the chopping block is actually going to be the Raj, because we're actually going to get a ton from doing the Raj, and this will also give us the options to go after these guys kind of on the interior. And we get a whole bunch of our subjects joining in against us. We're going to reduce autonomy on Siam. Mexico's already a puppet, so it's not going to be too big a deal, but we're going to try and annex as many of these guys as possible. We'll see who we can annex. Australia's not going to be annexable, but Baroda, Travancore, and Hybridad will all probably be annexable, so this will be pretty good for us. They don't have any war goals in other than war reparations. That's kind of weird. I would have expected these guys would be increasing autonomy or this type of thing. We'd be delighted to see Bhutan or anyone else join, because our main thing is we have a ton of maneuvers, and we can make a use of them as long as people are joining in. So we will put in stuff on, Hybridad and Gujarat, look to annex these guys out. To be honest, we actually probably just should have full annexed Siam, but we already went for the reduced autonomy, so that's going to be that on that one. Can we full annex Australia? Do we have enough maneuvers? We might have enough maneuvers. We have like 60 or 70. We might have enough maneuvers to full annex Australia too. Okay, now, this is where the fun begins. We declared annex on Portugal, and we get sided against by a whole bunch of people. Turkey, Spain, Mexico again, Belgium, Sierra Leone, we're going to annex Sierra Leone, Cape Colony, Bastar, Australia. We are going to be looking to annex kind of everything. We have already put in some on Australia in this other war, which, just popped versus the British Raj, where we are going after Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, and Western Australia, or removing the claim here so we could colonize it. So we make sure the entire map is painted, because they can't be trusted to colonize this. They can't be trusted with anything because they're clearly revolting against, the sweet sorrows of Gustav Wadenstein, the, cocaine addict, the reckless cocaine addict. Everything was all peaceful. Everything was all peaceful when the previous president was involved, but now that the depraved cocaine addict is involved, things have changed. We actually might need more military. 1,400 battalions might not cut it. It probably does, but it might not. I'm not sure I've ever had more active battalions simultaneously on the map ever. It is making the game chug a little bit. This is a bit of a novel experience. We currently are fighting 3 huge wars. This war for the Raj and a whole bunch of other stuff. The balance of power is quite big. We have, 790 battalions on the other side. The USA war, ironically, is actually the smallest with 250 battalions and another 750 battalions, opposing us in the other war against our subject. But wait, there's more. We have to declare another play. We're actually going to declare the smallest play we can. That's still reasonably useful, because we do have to do every single war. So we're just going to conquer Etche with the North German Fed is going to defend them. So we don't actually want to conquer them yet. We want to get our truce with the North German Fed, then declare on them, and then go after, use it to kind of reset our ability to go after the North German Fed. So we will have to go after someone else. I think Liberia is probably going to be a kind of reasonable option here as well for similar reasons. So we'll just go after Liberia here. Not really expecting too much of anything from going after Liberia, other than, just we want to be using the cooldown as much as possible, and also kind of actually cleaning up these other 2 wars, which are a bit messy. We don't even have stuff to assign to every single front. We've split up a bunch of armies in a bunch of spots. As soon as we enforce on the USA, we'll be landing on Turkey, I think. What's this? This doesn't concern us, I don't think. And so I think we're pretty close to enforcing on the USA, if I'm not mistaken, and then we'll just land on Turkey. Nope, we're not close at all. Also, Mexico's fighting both with us and against us, which is always incredibly awkward when that happens. We have this Indo army, which maybe is bricked off the front. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. They're fighting... Mexico's fighting with us against the USA, but against us in our 2 revolutionary wars. So things are a little bit jank, but soon it will all kind of be smooth sailing. I think that this is just kind of the opening salvo is a little bit messy. After a little bit of a rev, we should be getting Portugal here. They revved, so we made sure not to enforce on Portugal, and now we're enforcing on them. Also, very awkwardly, Canada kept on trying to land Belgium, so we couldn't land Belgium until Canada stopped. We managed to get that in, so we should be okay on that front. We also, I believe, will be annexing the rest of Australia here. We still need to tick them down, but I don't think that there's anything left here. So just kind of taking a look over, there is, of course, going to be a lot of separatist movements. Despite us running really low taxes, I think we could also just continue to blast here and don't really have to worry about the deficit. We decided to go for Paraguay for a little bit of reprieve in terms of having a maneuver around a lot of forces, and then we decided to go for the North German Fed. For the North German Fed, France sided against us. We kind of shouldn't have blown our load in terms of maneuvers, but figured that this is going to be at least fine. With the primary war goals, we are making sure to draw a line all the way over to the Netherlands, so this will decrease our convoy usage, because now we will only have to connect convoys from here over to here, and then they will snake their way through, all the way through Turkey, all the way over. So that'll be great. If they just decide to back down, I don't imagine they back down, because they're just in uncertain mode, which is... I don't know why they think that they could possibly win this, but they do. They are with France, but, I mean, they have a third of our troops, so I don't know what that's about, and I think we have better mil tech, and even if we don't have better mil tech, we could research better mil tech. We're not even researching better mil tech right now, because we're just kind of running over people, and it's not going to make too big a difference. I mean, and we only even... Yeah, we have a ton of armies all over the place, and we could just bring more down to bear if it was necessary against them here, but I don't think that it will be. Let's move at least one of these guys on over to the front that does not seem to have anyone on it. Kind of a weird, awkward front right there, but we are going to be taking a big chunk out of North Germany, and then we're going to have to make sure that we keep an eye on Russia, because this one will probably be the thing that takes the very longest, is annexing Russia, so we do have to make sure that we keep an eye on the truce, which has 29 more months. Big sad, the guy that was allowing us to get 20 extra maneuvers of war is dead, and we can't promote this guy ahead, because this guy is a president. He's not a parliamentary. Also, we have to wait 6 months anyways, so what we'll probably do is we'll find a rev to back down to, something like this. We'll get this guy out from office, and then we'll promote this guy, something like this, because once we're parliamentary, then we can promote these guys. Maybe we'll even switch to council republics so that the trade unions are locked in, and so we can hopefully be locked in on Lion McFarlane. Everyone say hi, Korea. Everyone say bye, Korea. We will be annexing them in one go. No one has an interest in this region but us, so we made all the demands primary anyways in case some weird thing happens where they back down. Also, nice loud car outside. Also, we kind of like the devout a little bit more right now, so we've gone administrative clergy and clerical educators on both fronts, because I think that at this point, we have nearly 1 billion pops. Getting more pops is not the problem. We've annexed the EIC in China, and so we would rather have company throughput bonus, and so I think we're going to go for this instead. To that extent, we could even consider going state religion. Most of the reason we would have for not going state religion is kind of voided at this point. We would cause a little bit more discrimination, but it's not the biggest deal in the grand scheme of things, and we would maybe be able to get a bit of extra throughput, but we're not really trying to maximize GDP at this point, like with how we're playing. We're playing a little bit loose as far as the GDP goes. We're instead kind of just focusing on getting the world conquest done here. Okay, I felt a little bad about not going for high GDP, so we're adding about 300 construction sectors. Man, these moves make us feel so smart. We had Marina Kingdom having an alliance with France, so we get to declare on Marina Kingdom, and even though we don't have quite as many maneuvers as we had before, we don't have to make anything primary, because Marina Kingdom will never back down because they're getting annexed, and so when France allies in, or sides in, we get to annex a whole bunch of stuff, so this will reduce France to being able to be gotten in a single war, because all they have left is 6 provinces, and they will also be landlocked following this, so the next war on France, which is going to pull in their subjects, will probably be able to full annex New Granada as well with something like this. So we reduced autonomy on Russia. Thankfully, they accept. They had about a 27% chance, and now we're going to be going for the Don Cossack host instead. And Don Cossack host, very importantly, has an alliance with Russia. So we're expecting Russia to intervene, and we will get to reduce autonomy on Russia twice here, which is going to really accelerate us being able to do this stuff. We, of course, do want to force the diplomatic play, and then we will also be... we do not need a lot of maneuvers for this. We could use... we could exile this guy, abdicate, just so that we could get this guy in charge, but I think that we're just going to save on the cooldowns. The reason we would want to do this is for the reckless trait for plus 20 maneuvers per diplo play, but since we're not trying to take states off of Russia, and we're just trying to reduce autonomy on Russia, we should be fine without it. Now, with the Don Cossack host, we will be full annexing them, so we can take as many states as we want, but only Russia can side against us. We're expecting them to side against us, and when they do, we'll probably just peel a bunch of states off of them anyways, because why not? Yeah. Behold, the Kingdom of France. We are the only GP at this point, and there are only 2 major powers remaining in France, and of course, the Kingdom of France, and Italy, whom we haven't touched yet. So we're taking about half the territory of Italy no matter what they do, even if they back down. We put most of the stuff in as primary, really want to make it so that we just need one more war in order to full annex them. Well, it looks like we have a few people supporting the independence of Ukraine, which is fantastic for us because these people, we can just full annex when we go to annex Ukraine here because they will get pulled in. So this is absolutely fantastic for us. We don't mind fighting North German Fed and Russia, Ukraine, Sweden at the same time, of course. And so this will be really great. It's a shame we don't have the guy yet, because in 112 days or 120 days, we will get this guy in charge, who, of course, has Reckless. But I still think we will manage to do some good work here. I think we can just full annex Sweden. I think they're only... It looks like there are only 4 or 5 provinces in total, and we have 130, but we definitely want to put in reduce Russian autonomy. I guess we could reduce Swedish autonomy, or we could annex them. This is really kind of the 2 decisions. It is going to cost us, what is this, maybe 60 maneuvers to full annex them, and then we could take a couple of things off of North Germany as well. We probably should just go for the full annex then. You know, for a grand alliance, this alliance doesn't look very grand. Of course, they've got defensive cooperation as their thing. They are the last remaining power block other than the Singularity. And boy, oh boy, do they look not so grand. This is a little bit of a glorious war, but we keep on getting bricked by separatist movements in terms of being able to constantly be declaring a play. This one's about to resolve, but it does make me feel a little bit scared. I mean, we have 30 years. We have more than enough time, but I just still am so scared. Going after the USA again. This will be our second to last USA war. We have enough in primary that even if they back down, we should be able to full annex them in the subsequent war here. Maybe we should have left them a little bit more of a coast so that they would get involved when we go for South America, but it's probably okay. We do like to have the occasional play where we're using, or actually we really love having plays where we're using like some maneuvers to annex, like let's say Brazil, and then a GP joins in, and then we can rake the GP a little bit too. We're also full annexing Hungary here because we're a hungry hippo. Conquering like 80% of the known world does have its perks. We are going to be able to slot in some better companies. We're going to slot in the Empresas Electrices Asociadas, which is going to help us to keep all of our electricity PMs going, make all of our electricity stuff a lot more profitable, as well as give 5% state construction efficiency. I really don't think that this one's really quite paying out for us. In terms of military goods, I mean, it's saving us maybe 130k a tick, but I mean, this isn't the worst thing to have a company for, so maybe that's okay for now. But we in particular don't like this tooling company that good. Okay, offense 5%, woo! But it's nowhere near as good as the best tooling company in the game, which you get out of Wallonia. Things are a little bit laggy, in case you didn't notice, but that's what happens when you go up to 20k construction, completely gratuitously because you made a comment about construction and then you felt bad about the construction and then the truth hurts and then you just double construction from, 10K to 20K, and this is like completely unnecessary. It doesn't do anything. It's not like we're going to not conquer the world here, at least on the basis of not having a big enough economy, but instead you just double construction because, you try not to cry and then you just double construction and then everything feels much better because it's doubled, right? We're going to scroll and find this company eventually. We forgot its name. Society Anami John Cockrell. The John Cockrell Company is absolutely insane. It's going to give 10% railways building throughput, and also it's going to be giving us, company for motor industry, which we didn't have before, and tooling workshop, which we are slotting out for it instead. And so this is going to be really good for us. We might get rid of this one. I'm not sure exactly what we want. I really do like this setup. Oh, you know what we might want? The Antofagasta Company, but we have to conquer Bolivia for it. We might prefer that to the Kaiping Mining Company. In fact, I think we do, because we already have a coal company, and the Antofagasta Company will give us a sulfur company. So I think I like the sound of that. I think we found the perfect place to conclude this episode, which is us enforcing on Austria, leaving them with 4 separate enclaves. There's an enclave there, there's an enclave there, there's an enclave there, although Istria has access to the sea, and there is an enclave over here, which of course is, one of our finest works. As things stand, we are getting pretty close. We have around 30 years remaining, and we've done an enormous amount of work this episode. We still have a ton of wars to do, obviously, but we're declaring them on cooldown. We have a war available now, but we're not going to use it just quite yet. The USA, by the way, did get kind of wrecked, and that's all that remains. This is all that remains of France. France has like 6 total states. Spain has 5. Austria has, I think, 6 for North Germany, something like this. I mean, Algeria has maybe the most states left in the game other than us, or one of our subjects. If we just take a quick look at some of this stuff, because this is maybe interesting, looking at the prestige... there's 80... Oh, man, there's actually 80... No, this isn't ranking, is it? Is there really 80 powers left remaining? Yikes, we have to do 80 more wars? Uh-oh. That seems like a lot. Okay, well, our prestige is 24,000. Next up is our subject, 800. And we have to go all the way down to North Germany to get 400. Everyone else is a minor power or lower. You see Spain is the strongest of the minor powers. We have, for GDP, we are at 3.8 billion. The next biggest is our subject with 58 million. And then the next one that is not our subject was formerly our subject, the Japanese shogun. These guys were the guys who were really eating up our convoys, so maybe subjugating in Japan's like not even worth it in a general sense. We have the 3rd highest SOL in the game, and this is without really using military or any sort of principles with to any effect. I really regret putting in the militarized industry, but it is nice and themey, but it's just not going to be very useful. I mean, the minus mill goods cost, the thing is we just like categorically just don't need the amount of military we have anymore. In my head, I don't know why I thought this was going to be a super Rumble Thunderdome when it was more just like, it was like going into a jumping house, like, as an adult, and there's a bunch of kids, and then you just fight all the kids. And so it's pretty straightforward here. And then for population, we have 1 billion. The next biggest pop is our subject with 43 million, whom we are siphoning off pops from. Japan has got problems, Jesus. They're not in our market, so this just means that people are just dying. Oh no. That must be from them leaving our market. They couldn't have productive industries, and now they're just locked in on a bunch of stuff, and a bunch of people are unemployed and dying and this type of stuff. Turkey's doing alright. Again, our subject, Austria, is down to... Well, that's actually pretty good considering like they have 5 states remaining and they're all enclaves, I suppose. Oh, that's population, not GDP. Still, GDP seems to be doing kind of okay, given the situation. I guess maybe the game hasn't had time to think and be like, well, actually everything's terrible. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I think next episode we will be able to, maybe... I just don't know, 80 countries. I feel like there's less than 80 countries on the map, but I guess I could be mistaken. To be fair, a lot of these are subjects where we'll have a 25% chance to just annex them anyways. Okay. If you did like this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You know, do the YouTube algorithm thing. There's links down below. And other than that, have a good one.